I know that he is here. I've not yet had a chance to either bump into him or see him, but I'd be happy to. I mean, it'd be something that I would want to do. I have resumed, and the United States has resumed formal discussions with the Chinese. We've had several meetings to date, and we'll be talking very shortly. We will be meeting again soon. And we very much hope to be able to find the pathway to a breakthrough that could make a huge difference, since China is, of course, 30% of all the global emissions, and the United States is at about 10 now. And we are on a pathway, however, to keep the warming of the planet limited to the 1.5 degrees, together with a bunch of other countries. But we need more countries to be joining that group. But I am encouraged that there are major technologies on which we are poised to have a breakthrough. There's a tremendous global effort taking place. There's much more awareness. I find we're not in a battle now to convince as many people that this is happening and you have to change. We're in a mobilization effort and a new moment, I think, for the movement, because people are finally beginning to really see what the implications are of not taking action.
And of course, COP27 ended with an agreement to provide loss and damage funding for the poorer countries hit hard by climate change. But the details are still unknown. How much is the fund worth, and where would the finance come from?
Well, those questions are legitimate, but they were all left specifically to the process this year to try to provide the answers to those things. It is appropriate that people are really focused on the consequences of this crisis that we're facing. And there are many countries in the world, the most vulnerable nations, that are not responsible for what is happening, but who are getting the impacts full on. And so, I mean, it's meaningful that in Africa, for instance, in sub-Saharan Africa, there are 48 nations that equal in total 0.55% of all the emissions. But then on the other side, you have 20 major economies that are responsible for 80% of all the emissions. So you don't have to work hard unless you have no heart and no brain to understand the degree to which justice is critical, inclusivity is critical, and action is critical, urgent action to begin to reduce those emissions fast enough that we do what the scientists are telling us we must do, which is avoid the worst consequences of the crisis. And we only avoid the worst consequences if we can hold the Earth's temperature increase to the 1.5 degrees. And we're on the edge. There are some scientists who will tell you you've already blown past it. There are some who will tell you, no, we may be able to have a little overshoot, but we can do a clawback and come back to the, hold on to the 1.5. All I know is we're not on track to hit the 1.5. We should be, we need to be, we need to do everything in our power to move in that direction. That means a whole bunch of things. Beginning to be much faster in our transition to the new clean economy, being much more strict in holding each other accountable to the reduction of emissions, getting reduction targets from certain big countries that haven't even renewed their targets as they were meant to post-Glasgow. So there are a whole set of imperatives here for what has to be done.